Is it worth getting your license in 2024? In short, yes, but only if you're willing to put in the hours. If you're not willing to put in the work, then expect a lot of inconsistent income, competition, and longer work hours. Now, I've been a realtor for almost 2 years now, and based on my experience and a little bit of research, I'm going to break this down into competition, income, and difficulty, and let you guys decide what you want to think. Okay, if you've heard that there's a lot of competition in Ontario, it's not a lot. In 2023, there was almost 87,000 realtors, with some estimates reaching as high as 100,000. And now what this means is that per number of agents per capita, there's about 1 in 59 workers in Ontario that are somehow involved in real estate. So meaning 1 in 60 people that you meet on your street, on your block, in your city, they're involved in real estate in some shape or form. To make matters worse, it's estimated that almost 90% of transactions are handled by just 10% of agents. Meaning 90% of agents are handling just 10% of the market. This means there's sort of like a breaking point where there's a lot of realtors who are competing for just a very small amount of deals within each other. And then as soon as you break through the small ceiling, you get opened up to the rest of the 90% of the market. Now, from personal experience, I can tell you that this is because of larger brokerages. Now, what's happened is that because we have so many established brokerages, which have become so massive and huge, they have so much more access to real estate tools, resources, and connections. They have much better connection with developers, and they have much better resources to market and get better things for their agents as well. And so what this does is these large brokerages now have such an advantage compared to, a small guy that's starting out. And even though if you're a new agent, you're going to be joining one of these brokerages, you're still going to find that it's going to be very, very difficult for you because you're competing against people within your own brokerage. And it's not always a collaborative culture in real estate because everything's independent and everything's commission-based. So some people might help you, especially if you're part of a team, but in that case, you're going to have to give in a little bit of your cut. Now, the crazy thing is that despite this access to all these different resources and this insider knowledge that a lot of brokerages have just because they've been doing the trade for a while, we have a lot of buyers that are coming in recently who actually are getting much more access to this information. And so today we're seeing something which we didn't see 10 years ago, which our buyers today in the market are much more knowledgeable and they have much more access to resources to check the price of homes in their area and to see different listings and open houses that are happening. And because of social media, they're actually way less dependent on realtors than they used to be. Now, after reading this, I thought, okay, maybe the listing agents are not doing too well either. But after a little bit of research, you'll see that the FSBO, so for sale by owners numbers, have actually dropped significantly over the years. It's dropped from 15% in 1981 to 8% in 2023, meaning a lot of homeowners are actually choosing to sell the home with realtors more than they used to. And what that means, actually listing agents are doing okay. It's actually the buying or the co-op agents that are having a little bit of trouble because buyers are way more knowledgeable and they have much more access to resources, so they just are less dependent on realtors in general. Okay, now let's take a look at what matters, the money. So a lot of people that get their real estate license, they want to get into the industry to earn some sort of money. And it's such a lucrative career because you have so many options and you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars or even millions sometimes. And some agents do, but a lot of agents don't. So looking at the research, the average Ontario real estate agent earns about $87,000 a year, with only about 13% of agents earning over 6 figures. Now initially this $87,000 looks okay. It looks like a fairly high average income in Ontario, but when you look a little bit deeper, you'll notice that the real estate commission, the way people earn money, is on commission, and commission varies greatly per agent. And so we have some agents that are earning $20,000 a year or less, and we have some agents that are earning millions. And so those ones that are earning millions actually bring up this average way higher, right? Even though it may not be a lot, that number is so high that can bring this average up a lot. And we notice this even farther because only 13% of the agents in Ontario are even earning past 6 figures. So this means there's actually 87% of agents in total that are earning less than 6 figures. And most agents that get into the job, they're getting to the job to earn more money. And most of the time, a lot of people have the opportunity to earn anything between like 1 to 5 figures for a normal job. So they're really getting into real estate to earn more than 6 figures, and a lot of them just simply don't. Now, when you go a bit deeper, you'll even notice that new agents, 80% of them make $0 in the first year. they actually don't make any profit at all. And they struggle to financially cover their costs, which typically in the first year can range anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000. So as a new agent already, in your first year, that is an extremely, extremely difficult position. And this is just to mention the full-time agents. This is not even to bring into the fact that part-time agents are going to have way less time to work, and they're still competing with these agents that have way more time to give. And those full-time agents who still have double the time and double the resources still are not able to get that kind of money that they want. So it is a bit of a rough market. So money-wise, it's not looking too good. But this leads us to our last point, and that is difficulty. Now, I really wanted to think about, is real estate actually a more difficult job than it used to be? Because although the market has changed, it would seem like we have greater access to social media and marketing, and it has become a little bit easier to reach people. But upon a little bit of research, you'll notice that real estate actually is a much harder job than it used to be, simply because of slower markets and increased interest rates. Not to mention the longer work hours and the high financial costs, which have just been increasing year by year, which usually make a lot of new agents drop out during their first year. But the stats don't tell you what real life does. From real life experience, from my personal experience, I've noticed there's a lot of realtors who do the bare minimum and then complain about competition in the market. They do just the bare minimum, they put tons of money onto ads, and then they sit back, relax, they don't even touch social media, they're not online, they're not creating a brand, and then they find that, oh, I'm not getting any deals, and there's so much competition. The truth is that real estate is a harder profession than it used to be, and realtors today do earn less than they used to because it's a harder job. So it's not as easy as it seems, and although it used to be super lucrative, it might not be as lucrative today, and it might not be the greatest option today. And all that really means is that you just simply have to work harder to get the same results. Now, at first, this sounds terrible. It's like, why would I want to get my real estate license if only 13% of people are even earning past six figures? Like, what are my chances? Well, personally, I see that as a 1 in 10 chance, which is not great. But if you're leaving it up to chance, then that is what it becomes. But when you take it from personal experience, I can tell you that a lot of the agents are doing the same sort of things. They're not actually putting in the consistent hours. Even though they might be long hours, they might not be doing the right things. And this is where your personal experience, knowledge, and skill comes into play. The better you learn the market, the more you can improve your real estate skills, the better chance you're going to have, right? You might be comparing yourself to the 87% of agents who didn't earn more than six figures last year, but we have no clue about those people's skills. We don't know what they were doing. We don't even know how long they were working. I know a lot of full-time agents, and you might too, who actually don't work full-time hours. And you might even have dealt with agents in the past who really were not that knowledgeable, right? So there's no point in comparing yourself to a statistic which gives you really no info about those types of people. And so what I want to say very directly is that if you just put in a little bit more work than the bare minimum of what people are doing, which is usually the minimum, you're going to break through a ceiling and yield exponential results. And this is simply because we have all these agents fighting for 10% of the market. Once you do a little bit more than them, you're going to break through that ceiling and you're going to open yourself up to 90% of the market, where all the other percent of the agents actually are. And these are simple things like improving your sales skills, building a social media brand, learning the art of follow-up, improving yourself with technology, right? All these simple things that people don't really do too well. I know tons of agents who just put money on ads and they sit back and relax, right? Or a lot of agents who just go door knocking. But door knocking doesn't work unless you have the sales skills and the script to back it up. So there's so many things that play into your success in real estate, so many factors, and I wouldn't compare yourself to the statistics. Although it does look dire and it has become harder and the income is lower, there is still tons of potential. And if you're willing to put in work, like I said at the beginning of the video, if you're willing to do a little bit more work, you're going to yield exponential results. And to me, that sounds like an amazing opportunity, right? I can not only am I forced to get a little bit better because the market is so competitive at the lower level, but once I get better, bang, I'm going to open myself to so many more people. And it's going to become a lot easier. It's kind of going to be like a hump because you're going to have to learn. Once you get over the hump, it's going to be super, super easy from there. So take my advice. During the first year, do your best to learn. Do your best to learn what people are doing. Try to do more of it. Try to make your own style. Try to be unique. And that's really going to help you in the future years. And if I haven't already mentioned, take care of your mentality. Mentality matters a lot in real estate. And if you're not the type of person who can be a self-starter, an independent kind of business owner, because that's what you are, then that's a skill that you're going to have to develop. It's not something that you cannot develop, but it is something that you're going to have to put effort towards developing. So take your mentality very, very seriously, because the external things that you do are going to come from your thoughts, and your thoughts come from your mentality. So keep that in mind. Hopefully you liked the video. If you did, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.